Hello and welcome to another Steps of Sussex live episode, and you are joining me today on what actually is the final day of being a senior royal for Harry and Meghan, because tomorrow is the 1st of April, which is when they officially begin their new lives as not being senior royals. Do you like the tiara? Obviously this is the Queen Mary's diamond bandeau, which is absolutely gorgeous and incredible. I'm going to put that back on my head for everyone to marvel at. So we're going to be going into a lot of things. It has also been announced today by the Sussexes themselves that they will be personally. So this, to me, doesn't necessarily seem ambiguous, but they are personally going to pay for their own security costs themselves. We'll be talking a little bit more about that in a moment. So, hello and welcome. I hope you've all had a really good and fantastic day, evening, however and wherever it's been for you since we last spoke. So, as always, this is a live chat, so it's always important for me to find the live stream. So let's just go and get that now. Right, it's coming up, it's coming up. Ooh, right, it's coming up. My sound is on. Ooh. I needed to mute my sound. That was on from when I premiered my weekly vlog last night. Right, okay. I'm just seeing people dropping in. Hello to you all. Right, where's a good place to start today? I'm not entirely sure where is a good place. I'm going to start where I left off yesterday. So, cast your mind back, if you haven't seen it, to yesterday's chat. I was talking about Harry and Meghan's post that they had put on their Instagram. Now, at the time of doing it, there was more coming out. So basically, just as I signed off from that video, there was more and more and more coming out. A spokesperson for Harry and Meghan had released statements to the media, which I'm going to read in a moment. So it turns out that was their final Instagram post under the moniker of Sussex Royal. Now, it's not clear when they do rebrand. Of course, again, we don't know what they're going to choose to rebrand under, but it's unclear whether or not they will just change the name on Instagram and carry on with that account at some point, or whether they will create a brand new Instagram account and start again. Effectively, you know, a new start, a new beginning. We don't know. But as I discovered when I was looking in yesterday's video, they had turned the comments off. So this social media window for the Sussexes has now been put on hold, shall we say. They are not going to be posting on Instagram for the foreseeable future under this account. Now, like I say, whether or not they will just change the name at some point once they've done their rebranding, or begin an entire new account, I don't know. Or whether they might even choose to start up a Facebook or a Twitter. I mean, who knows what the plans will be. But I think for the foreseeable future, at least the next few months, and I say that tentatively, at least the next few months, we probably won't hear much from Harry and Meghan whilst they begin this transition. So I'm not going to read that post again, but I just thought I would kind of kick off from where we left off. So their Sussex Royal account currently has 11.3 million followers. One other thing to note, they were only following one account. They are now following 3, and they are all positive news accounts. We have Global Positive News, Good News Movement, and Tanks Good News. So they are very, very much making a statement that they are following and only subscribing to positive news, which is something that they have been they've been pushing for the last 3 months on their Sussex Royal account. Before then, they were following sort of different topics of charities, changing it every month. But for the past 3 months, they have only followed good news accounts. Right, more people have dropped in now, so I'm just going to kind of see what people are saying. Thank you to Southern Lady. Kathy says, I would love to see them on Twitter, but the trolls would be insane. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing to mention. Harry and Meghan have disabled the comments on their Sussex Royal Instagram posts as well, which I discovered yesterday whilst I was live. Right, I'm going to move on now. And again, where shall I begin? I have several links open. I think I will start with recapping on a series of tweets that came out. And I'm going to choose Omid Scobie as a trusted news reporter when it comes to the Sussexes. So I'm going to read a series of tweets. Now, these are the tweets that came out just after I had finished being live in my last video. So there was a statement from a Sussex spokesperson who said, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex will spend the next few months focusing on their family and continuing to do what they can, safely and privately, to support and work with their pre-existing charitable commitments while developing their future non-profit organisation. And that was put out by a Sussex spokesperson. So I will just show you that there. If you want me to, I can share the link in the description box as well to that post. But there it is, so you can see what I'm reading from. And then Omid tweeted, the new arrangements will be reviewed in 12 months' time. Well, we knew that anyway. Agreed by both the royal family and the Sussexes. That, of course, came out of the Sandringham Summit, as it became known. Though Harry and Meghan are clearly focused on their new chapter, don't expect to hear much from them over the next few months. Now, we know that Omid Scobie has a good working relationship with Harry and Meghan, so I would probably suspect that he has been told that, probably, you know, by people very, very close to Harry and Meghan, if not Harry and Meghan themselves. So I would take that as we probably aren't literally going to hear anything for at least the next few months. And, you know, as I've just said, they shared their last post under the Sussex Royal Instagram brand. Their website, the Sussex Royal, they are not going to be updating that until they have rebranded that as well. And again, we don't know whether or not that's going to be a brand new complete website or whether it's just kind of reworking the existing one, changing the name, changing the content. We will have to wait and see there. Now, as confirmed, the Sussexes have made their own private security arrangements. Reporting and speculation on security measures, says a rep, adds a risk to all who is receiving protection and potentially members of the public. No further comments will be made. Well, they have made a further comment, because today, and in fact I'm going to go to a different link at the moment, and then I'll go back to that one. There's going to be quite a lot of toing and froing, but I just want to kind of read something else as well. So, it has been revealed today by a Harry and Meghan spokesperson that they are personally going to meet the costs of their protection. So Harry and Meghan have agreed to pay for their security personally at a cost of up to £4 million a year. Now, I would be very cautious when it comes to the reports of any costs. We do not know the exact cost of how much anything is going to cost. There are estimates out there, you know, there are fairly good estimates, but, you know, with running a royal protection officer standard security probably would be in the upper regions of close to round about £4 million a year. But we do not know the exact figure, so I would be very, very careful with hearing estimates or reading about estimates, because I have seen estimates vary wildly. A spokesman for the couple confirmed last night that they had decided to take on the burden met by the British taxpayer and fund the cost of their protection out of their own pockets after stepping down as senior royals. Now, it isn't clear at this point entirely what security detail they are referring to. Will it be royal protection officers, which they are paying for themselves, or will it be privately funded bodyguards? I know there was a lot of talk about without diplomatic protection, especially from President Trump as well. Meghan and Harry would have to apply to President Trump to get diplomatic protection, but also even just to allow royal protection officers to carry firearms. Without that protection, without the say-so, without consent from President Trump, royal protection officers would not be able to carry any weapons like they do now. Currently, there are arrangements in place for senior royals and diplomats, vice versa between America and the USA, between America and the UK, or rather the USA and the UK, I'll get there eventually, with regards to carrying firearms in each other's countries. That ceases when Harry and Meghan step back tomorrow as senior royals. So, royal protection officers would not be able to carry firearms without the consent from President Trump. Trump has made it perfectly clear that probably that would not be granted. So, it's unclear whether or not Harry and Meghan would be funding private bodyguards or a mixture of the two. Maybe the intelligence of the royal protection officers, maybe the physicality of the bodyguards with firearms. I don't know. We don't know. But what will become clear is the next time we see Harry and Meghan emerging in public, we will see who is there. Will they be royal protection officers, or will they be privately funded bodyguards? We don't know. But whatever means, it has come out today that they are personally going to fund it themselves. Now, also what has come out today is that Prince Charles will continue to pay for the upkeep of his son and daughter-in-law for the first 12 months. That is the transition period. Now, this will be paid for out of his own private funds, not the duchy money. And so no money from the Duchy of Cornwall is going to pay for this. Now, indirectly, you could argue that his private income is derived from the duchy money. But currently, the Cambridges and the Sussexes were paid for out of duchy money, which is the Prince Charles's the Duchy of Cornwall, which funds the Cambridges, Charles, Camilla, and the Sussexes up until this point. But no, he's going to privately fund, because Charles is allowed to keep the profits of the Duchy of Cornwall to fund his own charitable ventures, the work that he does of himself, Camilla, the Cambridges, and what would have been the Sussexes had they continued. And of course, towards the end of Harry and Meghan's chapter as being senior royals, it had been agreed that that cost would have been split when they moved their offices, obviously, to Buckingham Palace, that would have been split between the Queen and Charles. So the Duchy of Cornwall and the Duchy of Lancaster would have kind of paid for Harry and Meghan. But Charles will continue to pay privately out of his own income for the first 12 months. So yeah, a Sussex spokesman, again, said costs are being personally covered by the couple. So I'm going to go back now that I've spoken about that, to Omid's series of tweets. Other details: Harry and Meghan will remain committed to their royal patronages. They retain their HRH, but will no longer use them. Well, we knew that anyway. No other royal communications. Reps will act on behalf of the Sussexes, including palace spokespeople. Well, we knew that was going to happen. Household representatives, nor royal sources. So there we go. That is all of the updated information as of now, as is correct as of now. So yeah, tomorrow begins their new chapter. Tomorrow, April the 1st, is when this new 12-month review will begin, and Harry and Meghan will be able to earn their own money, to be independent, to have their own independent lives. They are currently in LA. Now, it's believed, it's been reported that where they are at the moment is currently a bit of a gap stop. So they could be renting, or it could be a home that's owned by one of their friends that they are being graciously allowed to stay at. We don't know the details on that, but it's believed that they will be looking for something a little bit more, well, they'll be looking for their own home, and the area that's been touted is perhaps Malibu as a favourable area for them right now. Kathy says, seriously, why can't they carry guns when every nutter in the USA can? Because they are not American. Royal Protection Officers are British, and we do, if I was to come over to your country, to the USA, I would not be allowed to carry a gun. I don't want to anyway. But let's just put that out there. But I wouldn't be allowed to. So no, the Royal Protection Officers would not be allowed to. Shady says, do you think, and I'm not going to use that word on here, but we'll refer to it, you know the one that people are using, the M and it word. I'm not going to use it, but do you think that will be successful? We don't know. I mean, that is the facts of the matter is we do not know what will be successful. But also, how do you judge being successful? Do you judge success with money? Do you judge success with Instagram followers? Do you judge success with happiness, with personal happiness? There are so many different factors when you come to think about success, that really the only true people that are going to know whether this has been a success, whether it has been what they wanted it to be, is Harry and Meghan themselves. I don't really think it's useful or constructive for anyone else to make that judgment on whether they are happy with the decisions that they've made. They are fully capable of, in 12 months' time, or 2 years' time, or 5 years' time, or 10 years' time, looking back and thinking, are we happy? Are we happy with the decision that we've made? So, yeah, that is a very subjective question and point that only Harry and Meghan will be able to know themselves. Elaine says yes. Oh, talking to V, that you agree with V. V says, oh, Malibu is very protected. Having never been, I wouldn't know, so I'm going to take your word for that one. Red Amalgam says, what do you think is the purpose of the 12-month review? The purpose of the 12-month review is to make sure that both sides are happy. The British royal family, the monarchy, and also Harry and Meghan. It's a 12-month period where, I imagine it to be Harry and Meghan are able to go out and make deals and become financially independent. They are going to have to make money. People that are going to scrutinise every single penny or dollar they make are going to have to get it into their heads that they are going to have to make money at some point, to pay for their security, to pay for their houses, to pay for their lifestyles and staff. They are going to have to earn money. Harry and Meghan said that, in one of their earlier statements back in January, I think it was, that they would always uphold the standards of the monarchy, of the Queen. The 12-month review will be in place to make sure that the decisions they are making do actually do that. If not, then, I don't know what it means. If the Queen and the other senior royals decide that it hasn't gone well, that Harry and Meghan haven't upheld the standards, or that they are pulling the monarchy into disrepute, that kind of thing, I don't know. Further steps could be taken with regards maybe to titles, styles, maybe the dukedom could be revoked. I really don't know. Maybe any other funding that Charles might privately be giving could be taken away. I really don't know, but it is there. It is a chance for both parties to iron out anything that might not be working well. And like I've said, I will refer back to my earlier point, you know, who are we to judge what's working and what's not? Harry and Meghan will know, the senior royals will know, they will come together to work it out and to sort out issues. They have 12 months for any teething troubles. And then, of course, Harry and Meghan will decide at the end of that 12-month review how best to proceed. Are they happy with how things have gone in the 12 months or not? And like I've said before, only Harry and Meghan will truly know if it is what they wanted or not. And who are we to judge? There we go. I know people are having a conversation about the word... Okay, I'll say it. About the word Megxit. And I have to agree, the reason why I didn't say it in the earlier comment... I've just said it now just so that I can be clear on what I'm saying. But I don't like that term either because it insinuates blame. It insinuates that something is... that Harry and Meghan are doing something wrong anyway. And it puts all of that blame onto Meghan when we know that this is a joint decision. In fact, probably it's more Harry's decision to do what they have done, probably more so than Meghan. So yeah, I agree. It's not a useful term because it's kind of it misrepresents the situation as a whole. So no, I won't be repeating that one. Stan says the term is repulsive. And Charlie says they just use that word for headlines. Yes. Raynette says after today, they are on their own, so they will have to figure out a way to deal with the negative press in their own way. Yeah, it will be different. Life will be different. And even more so, I think, for Harry, because, you know, he has only really known one way of life. He has had periods of what you could kind of say is normality when he was in the army. But even, you know, as any military person will tell you, military life is very, very different to civilian life. So Harry has not lived this life that he is about to live before. So it is going to be probably a bit of a culture shock. Probably a shock to the system. It will probably take a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, I think Harry will feel it a lot more than Meghan. Meghan has lived that life before. That was her life before she married into the royal family. But Harry will have a bit of a transition, most definitely. And I think that's fair to say. I think that is a fair point to make. Jill says, I wasn't comfortable with taking a helicopter ride to the mainland. Too much risk over time. Ooh, what are you talking about? I think I've missed the whole thread of what you were talking about. Cookies and Cream says, a 12-month review is nothing more than an excuse to give the royal family time to try and destroy the Sussexes' marriage. I don't think so. I think it would be counterproductive for Harry and Meghan to do something, to allow Harry and Meghan to do something that would ultimately bring the royal family into disrepute. The royal family have got a lot going on this year with what's going on in the world right now, Harry and Meghan doing what they're doing, but also there's going to be, I think, the Prince Andrew issue is going to come to a head this year. There is a lot. There is a lot on the Queen's plate to contend with right now. And I don't think that they would try anything to try and bring anything else on them. Because regardless of what people say, the Prince Andrew issue is going to come, I think, to a head this year. The media are not going to be dissuaded from commenting on it. From, you know, if something happens that is big with Prince Andrew, it will be on the headlines. It will be talked about in the news. It will be put out there, and it will bring the monarchy into disrepute, depending upon what it is that comes out. But I would expect there to be some kind of conclusion at some stage this year with regards to that. So the royal family has a lot on their plate. Margaret says, I don't know why Harry and Meghan don't go by the title Harry and Meghan Mountbatten Windsor. It could, it could come to that. You know, maybe it could come to that. Let's have a look. Red Amalgam says, a far-fetched hypothetical. Ooh, we like these. But if it ever got to the point where Harry would have to ascend to the throne, would he have to relinquish any warnings he and Meghan made? Ooh, what do you mean warnings? I'm not quite sure what you mean by warnings. Ooh, let me know what you mean by warnings and I'll carry on answering that question. Oh, earnings. There we go, that's better. Would he have to relinquish any earnings he and Meghan made privately? I don't think so, no, because they would have earned it before he came to the throne, hypothetically speaking, so no, I wouldn't have thought so. Although he could make a gesture and donate some to a charitable foundation. Karen says, can they take Harry's prince title away? On a technicality, yes, but I don't think they ever would. It would be very contentious and also very punitive as well. I don't think they would ever do that. I think, if anything, they could perhaps remove the dukedom. But no, I don't think they would. On a technicality, I think they could. But that is Harry's birthright. They could choose for him not to use it, in the same way, for example, that James Viscount Severn and Lady Louise Windsor are technically prince and princesses, and they don't use it. They're not referred to it as. So technically, I think that they could kind of... That would be more the route they'd go down, perhaps, if ever that was felt to be necessary. But I can't really foresee a situation where that would be felt to be necessary. I think that is quite an extreme step. And I don't think the Queen would do it. I don't think Charles would do it. And I even don't think William would do it either. It would seem very, very punitive, very, very spiteful. Shady says, do they still live at Frogmore Cottage? Yes, they still have Frogmore Cottage, but they haven't lived there since the last time they were in the UK. And it is believed they agreed to pay back the renovation costs, and they have agreed to pay a rent on it as well. Right. Shady also says, see, I like the title questions. Can Archie get a royal title in the future, even if Harry and Meghan stay independent? Yes, because it is Harry's birthright that once Charles becomes king, Archie is entitled to be HRH and Prince of the United Kingdom. So if Archie got to, I think it's age 18, he could apply to the UK government to take up his birthright and officially be known as His Royal Highness Prince Archie of Sussex. Margaret says, if being royal is so great, then why is it that the Queen's children don't give royal titles to their children? Because they know that the further you are away from the throne, the more hard it is to earn your own money. Now, I think that's why Harry and Meghan decided not to give Archie a title, not to take up his birthright. And I don't think they will give him his princely status when Charles becomes king. But the problem, obviously, with Harry already has been that he already was given that title. And also, when he married Meghan, they took on the Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles. So that's where the contention comes in. Princess Anne and Edward and Sophie knew that, it's very highly unlikely that their children will ever, be a prominent member of the royal family in terms of being a working member. So I think they quite wisely chose to, ebb away from the criticism. Although, to be fair, in recent times, they still have come under criticism. Peter Phillips with the milk advert you know, it still doesn't guarantee that you aren't going to get criticism and scrutiny by being accused of using your royal connections to make money outside of the royal family. But it does make it a damn sight easier than what it would if you had a royal title. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie are prime examples. They are in between a rock and a hard place. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. They work, they have jobs, but it is not any type of job that earns a mega amount of money. They still live off their father, largely. Because if they were to earn money doing, you know, big deals and big sponsorships, they would come under criticism for being a princess of the United Kingdom and earning money, which is, I think, you know, it's something that Harry and Meghan, we're going to have to wait and see how that works. Which is, again, why we have the review period. Cecile says, why rent? They paid renovated costs because Princess Eugenie pays rent, and so does Beatrice. So should Princess Eugenie get her Ivy Cottage at Kensington Palace for free? Again, like I say, Princess Beatrice and Eugenie are probably more of a comparable that we should now be looking at in terms of comparing Harry and Meghan to. V thinks that Harry and Meghan shouldn't stay at Frogmore, or should give up Frogmore, I think is what you're hinting at. Shady says, I hope they do a sit down and tell all interview one day. Who knows, maybe. But, you know, again, you know, how that would come across, who knows. Right, okay, I think I'm going to wrap up today's chat. Before I go this time, I'm not going to make the same mistake as yesterday. I'm going to check to see if there's any other news that's come out whilst I am live. So I'm going to refresh a few pages and see if anything else has come out. No, I think we're okay this time. And then I will leave you all for today to digest Harry and Meghan's final day of being senior royals, because tomorrow they begin their new life. April the 1st begins the transition period. So, if you have enjoyed this video and found it useful, if it's helped to talk, then please give it a big old thumbs up. It really helps the channel. It helps YouTube know that you've enjoyed it, which means that YouTube will hopefully allow more people to find and discover this video, as opposed to other videos which are putting out misinformation, bad representation, and hate. So basically, give it a big old thumbs up, share on social media, and also hit the bell so that you know whenever I come on and do a live pop-up chat. Also, please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. So, from me... Oh, by the way, I should say, before I go, I wanted to say, I saw a video, a YouTube video, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, and it was a male voice talking, saying how it would always be, it would only forever be the British taxpayer that would pay for Harry and Meghan's security. He was wrong. So, from me in Shropshire, mwah to you all, and goodbye.